Autumn guests at Whispering Pines. In the secluded forests of Vermont, Lily Brooks has carved out a peaceful life in her cozy cabin with her 2 cats, Birch and Maple. Surrounded by towering pines and the ever-changing seasons, she spends her days running through forest trails, reading by the fire, and enjoying the solitude. But Lily's tranquility is upended when a new neighbor arrives at the holiday rental down the gravel road. Emily Hart, a charismatic journalist from New York City, is taking time off after a career crisis, hoping to find some peace away from the city's chaos. She's intrigued by the quaint charm of the remote cabin, but even more by her enigmatic new neighbor, Lily, who is less than pleased to have company nearby. One rainy afternoon, as Lily runs on her treadmill in the cabin, she hears a knock on her door. When she peeks through the window, she sees a woman bundled up in a long raincoat, waving with a friendly smile. Lily hesitates, reluctant to engage, but eventually opens the door, draped in a towel and visibly unimpressed. "Hey, sorry to bother you. I'm Emily," the woman says with a cheerful tone that feels out of place amidst the dreary weather. "I just moved into the rental up the hill. Thought I'd introduce myself." Lily, dripping with sweat and shivering from the cold, frowns. She shakes Emily's outstretched hand briefly, feeling awkward in her workout clothes. Emily's bright, casual demeanor contrasts with Lily's guarded nature, and she finds herself wishing this unexpected interruption would end quickly. "Nice to meet you, but I was in the middle of a run," Lily replies, inching the door closed. Emily nods but doesn't seem discouraged. "Sure, of course. I get it. Hey, if you ever want to join me for coffee or a walk, just let me know. I'm trying to get the lay of the land around here." Lily politely declines, but there's something about Emily's persistence, her easy smile and the way she seems genuinely interested in connecting, that lingers in Lily's mind after she closes the door. Despite herself, she can't help but wonder about the story behind this stranger, who's chosen to escape to the woods in the middle of autumn. As days pass, their paths cross more frequently, Emily always quick to share a warm greeting, while Lily keeps her distance. Yet gradually, as the crisp Vermont air grows colder, so too does the space between them shrink. A shared walk through the woods or a cup of hot cider on the porch becomes a small tradition. Emily's openness starts to wear down Lily's walls, while Lily's grounded presence gives Emily a sense of stability she's been searching for. In time, Lily and Emily realize that perhaps their lives, though very different, have intersected at the right moment. As autumn deepens, the two women discover that sometimes, the person you didn't know you needed is right next door, waiting to be invited in. Certainly. Here's a continuation of the story, adding more depth to their developing connection. Title: Autumn Guests at Whispering Pines continued. Days in Vermont grow shorter, and the trees turn from gold to deep crimson, shedding their leaves like confessions scattered across the forest floor. Lily maintains her solitary routine, but her thoughts often drift to the new neighbor, Emily. For all her friendly persistence, Emily seems strangely guarded at times. There's a shadow behind her cheerful exterior, and Lily, despite herself, starts to wonder what has driven this city woman to seek refuge in the woods. Lily tries to keep her distance. Her last attempt at letting someone into her life had ended in disappointment, leaving her resolved to embrace her solitude. Yet, she finds herself looking forward to the occasional run-ins with Emily, who has made herself comfortable in the small cottage. Their conversations start as brief exchanges, Emily asking about hiking trails, the best spots to see the sunset, and how to chop wood properly. One evening, after a particularly rough day, Emily knocks on Lily's door again, this time with a warm loaf of bread she baked herself. "I've been trying new recipes to keep busy," she says, offering the loaf with a hopeful smile. Lily hesitates, then accepts it, and something shifts between them. The next day, Lily stops by Emily's cottage with a thermos of her favorite herbal tea. It's an unspoken truce, a subtle acknowledgement that maybe, just maybe, they're both a little less alone than they thought. As the first frost arrives, Emily invites Lily over for dinner. A simple pasta with vegetables she picked up at the local farmer's market. Lily tries to turn her down as she usually does, but Emily's earnest smile catches her off guard. "It's just dinner. You can leave if it gets too much," Emily says, her tone light but her eyes hopeful. Lily finds herself agreeing, and that evening becomes a turning point. The warmth of Emily's small cottage, the scent of rosemary and garlic, and the soft strains of a jazz playlist in the background make Lily feel something she hasn't allowed herself to feel in a long time: comfort. They talk about little things at first. Lily's life before she moved to Whispering Pines, Emily's hectic job at a magazine that she left behind, and their mutual love of literature. But soon the conversation turns deeper. Emily shares bits and pieces of why she left New York: a falling out with her editor, burnout from the constant pressure, and a broken relationship that left her feeling like she'd lost her direction. Lily listens quietly, feeling a pang of recognition at Emily's struggles. In turn, Lily finds herself opening up, admitting the loneliness that creeps in during the long winters, how she sometimes wonders if she made the right choice to shut the world out. "I guess I thought coming here would make everything clearer," Emily says, her voice barely more than a whisper as they sit on the small sofa, their knees nearly touching. "But I just feel lost." Lily, unsure of what to say, reaches out and places a hand on Emily's. It's a small gesture, but it carries a weight that they both understand. In that moment, they realize that perhaps they've each found something unexpected in the other. Someone who understands what it means to feel adrift. From that night on, a quiet rhythm develops between them. They continue to share small, unplanned moments. Emily brings over cookies she's tried baking, while Lily shows her the hidden paths through the woods where deer sometimes graze at dusk. They make a habit of walking together to the lake, watching the sun disappear behind the mountains, their breath misting in the cold air. One night, while they sit on the porch wrapped in blankets, watching the first snowflakes of the season drift down, Emily asks Lily why she chose this isolated life. Lily hesitates, but eventually shares the story of a painful breakup and the feeling that she couldn't face people's pity and questions. "So I came here thinking I could outrun all of it," she says with a bitter laugh. "Turns out you can't really outrun yourself." Emily nods, her gaze softening. "Maybe you don't have to run anymore though," she says, her voice barely more than a murmur, as the snowflakes settle on their shoulders. "Maybe you can let someone run with you." Lily looks at Emily, sensing the sincerity in her words, and feels a crack in the wall she's built around herself. It's terrifying, this idea of letting someone in again, of being vulnerable. But she's also tired of the loneliness that lingers like a shadow in the corners of her life. As the snow thickens, Emily invites Lily inside, and they warm up with mugs of hot cocoa, sharing stories and laughter. It's a small, simple moment, but it feels like a beginning. Lily realizes she doesn't dread the company like she once did. In Emily's presence, she finds a comfort she thought she'd lost forever. In the following weeks, as snow blankets the forest and the wind howls through the trees, their friendship deepens. They share snowshoeing adventures, late-night talks, and even the occasional game of Scrabble by the fire. Their conversations begin to stretch into the early hours, and a quiet, unspoken connection blossoms between them, as natural and inevitable as the change of seasons. Emily's stay at the cottage is meant to end with the new year, but as the date approaches, she grows more hesitant to talk about her plans. Lily avoids the topic too, unwilling to face the possibility of her leaving. One evening, as they watch a frozen moonlight glaze the lake, Emily turns to Lily, her voice soft with uncertainty. "What if I stayed a little longer? Would you be okay with that? Lily feels her heart lift, a warmth spreading through her chest that has nothing to do with the fire crackling behind them. She meets Emily's gaze, a slow smile spreading across her face. I think I'd like that, she says quietly. And so the days continue with snow piling high and the woods growing still. But inside their small cottages, laughter and companionship fill the long winter nights. They are two women who have come to realize that sometimes, the quietest moments hold the greatest promise. And sometimes the person you're meant to find is right next door, waiting for you to open the door and let them in.